I'm getting to the point where I'm annoyed with these movies that think shocking images and art, if it were, um, are how you're going to move your plot forward. It annoyed me with Midsummer. It annoyed me with a couple other horror flicks I've seen, but I want to use Midsummer here because at the very least, I could see where Ari Aster was going. I could see what he was trying to accomplish. Whether he succeeded or failed is up to who you ask. I personally think he failed miserably, although the director's cut's good. This movie is shocking images for the sake of it, and that is a problem, a big problem. This, I don't. There's some stuff that people are talking about that I actually didn't mind. It's everything after that that I kind of am like I have an issue with. On top of that, nobody's redeemed. Who am I supposed to latch onto? Nobody's. Everybody in this movie is irredeemable. Everybody in this movie is a giant steaming pile of turd, just like the film itself. I hated this movie. I really did. Um, you know, I've come out of movies with these. I've come out of movies before where I've had large reactions to them, positive and negative, and then I sit on it, right? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't that bad, or yeah, that could have been punched up a little bit. And I don't hate French cinema. I love these out there movies. I love the movies that like when they have subtext behind them, when the shocking images have some subtext behind them. I love that. I love that. I think that's a good way to go. And if there's meaning to the scenes, there's no meaning to any of these scenes in this movie. This is a film that is that is just trying to shock you with no real reason to shock you and not to solicit a response from you other than oh God, but what's the meaning behind it? If it needs to be explained to me, then the film has completely failed at its job. That's a problem with a lot of these and hey, look, I am all for having a creative voice, right? I'm all for films being able to express themselves. I'm all for films being out there being able to express what they want to say and how they want to say it. But that doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean having shocking images and, shocking stuff in your plot substitute for it to be actually good. Why is that there? Why? You can't sit there and tell me there's anything in this scene that you can explain to me why it's there other than it's a shock fest. Um, there is one positive in this movie. Um, I'm going to mess up her name and I feel bad about it, but Agathe Rousselle, I thought her performance was great. I thought she has a bright future ahead of her. And I think this is one of her very few film roles that she's done, but her performance was fantastic. I will give praise where it's due there, but it's just a shame the film that she's surrounded in is just awful, and awful for the sake of it. No real, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. Um, and again, I'm all for creators having a voice. They should, but I'm also not going to. This is, again, it's just dumb. Just why? I didn't care. I wanted it to be over 20 minutes in, and it kept going, and it kept getting stupider. It kept getting illogical. It kept getting, but is that supposed to exist in the real? I don't care about that. There's plenty of movies that exist on a surreal plane. David Lynch has made a career of movies existing on a surreal plane, and they all make sense. Everything has a meaning. Everything is there for a specific reason. None of this is here for any other reason than just to shock the audience. If this is about family, then it needed to do a better job of being about family. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I hated it. Outside of uh, Miss Roselle's performance, I'm going to give this. Good God, I want to give it a 0, but that lead performance makes me give it a 1 out of 10. But yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely atrocious. I don't. It's Do yourselves a favor and don't see it.